Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for John and the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Wellstoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Wellstoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble when asking for a quote, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble again. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is the warm-up. This is where we get ready for our next fixture. Things are getting a little bit dicey out there. A little bit. Like, Burnley are really close to us again after their squeak to win last night. We're only 3 points away from Leeds, but their goal difference is significantly better than ours, which is fair to say. Obviously, we've got a tough game at the weekend with Eki coming back to town. We've already had a little bit of a chat about it this afternoon. That was on the day after Tuesday. We went live at 3 o'clock, but for some reason, it's showing as we went live 18 hours ago. I don't know if there's a problem with the upload of that one, whatever. Let me know if you can or can't see it, if you missed it at the time. But yeah, we talked about it. There were a little bit of a rebuttal to one of my mates in terms of what they were saying online. But you can see on the thumbnail there, the table and how close we all are. So we've all played 35 games, still 11 games to go. It cannot be understated how significant that is. 11 games to go. A long, long way to go. So whilst I think, and a lot of people think that Leeds are probably going to win the title, they are in fact only 3 points clear at the top. So it's not done by a long way. We've got to take each game as it comes. But it's exciting. I am really looking forward to this game at the weekend. Maybe it's because we've got 2 home games now back-to-back, which we always look forward to. Tricky visit of Preston, who I think we should have enough for, which we'll get into tonight because that's what we're here about. But then round the corner as well, half an eye on Bristol City, who've just crept up the league and sit, I think, in 7th at the moment, level on points with 6th place West Brom. So it's not going to be easy. Next time you'll see us after this will be for Hot Off the Presser. I'm still yet to find out whether it's going to be tomorrow morning or Friday morning that Chris Wilder's doing his press conference to prepare for the game. So that will be ready as and when the boss is ready to go, really. So we'll wait and see what Chris Wilder's plans are when he's doing his press conference. It may be tomorrow that you see me. It may be Friday, but we'll see. We'll see. Also got something quite exciting to get into as well as we progress through. But for now, this is the warm-up. Let's get into some of your comments to start us off. Ian says, evening, Jimmy and all the Ramblers. Would like to see us come out of the traps early and put them under pressure. Feel it's a game we should look to dominate. 3-0 Blades. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, pal. Yeah, get your score predictions in early doors. I normally forget to ask early, and then I ask you too late, and then we only get a few towards the end, and then people start doing it, and they don't get them read out. So if you want your comment read out in terms of your prediction, then get it in early doors because we'll make sure we get to it. Danny says, evening, guys. I think the running is going to be down to who can keep their best 11s fit. I'd rather have our running than Burnley's. Yeah, Joe Gibson's just shared in our Platinum chat Burnley's running, and it does not look good. I haven't looked that much at other teams' runnings. Obviously, I'm well aware of ours, which in itself is tricky, by the way. But Burnley's looks tough. Apart from centre back, what other positions do you think we need signings for that will go into our first 11 for next season? All depends on what league we're in, Danny. I tell you what, if you talk to me about worst case scenario and we're in the Championship next season, because I think this is probably leaning towards if we go up, what do we need? Well, let me tell you, we need nearly every position because we are nowhere near ready as a squad to get into that Premier League. We need to get there as a club, but we're nowhere near ready as a squad. We've got a good nucleus, good core, and it will need a lot of stuff spent on it, and not a lot of new bodies bringing in. But if we are to be a Championship club next year, I think we I'm hoping we hold on to Cooper, but I think we lose Hamer, Anel, and Souza, so they would all need replacing. I'm not sure we make Brereton Diaz permanent, although I would really like to. It'll depend really on Southampton's financial situation, because we're not going to pay 10 million quid, are we? I don't think, even though we paid that for Cannon. He's on big money as well. There's all sorts. I think we need a right wing solution, really, unless you think Brereton Diaz is that. But then if Hamer goes, does Brereton Diaz move over to his more natural left-hand side? Loads to think about. And it's, to be honest, it could be well be start again time for a lot of it, to be honest. Matthew says, evening, Jimmy O'Paul is good. Sure is, pal. Heard Connor has been doing your dirty making videos. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're all good. Let's hope it does come back to bite him. Really do not think so, though. If Burnley play like that till the end of the season, we'll get second easy. They're so awful, and Cardiff should have got something against them. I'm going 2-0 versus Preston and Luton to get a draw up the Ramble. Smash the likes. Thank you, pal. Okay, so on that, I think Burnley put in a nervy performance last night, but ultimately they went 2 up, got themselves comfortably in front, and then wobbled a little bit. How many times have we done that this season? How many times? So you could look at it, and we were talking about this earlier, you could look at it as, oh, it's a very unconvincing performance. Or you could say it's good game management, because even when they weren't playing well, they've got a result, which is something we've been doing a lot of the season, to be fair. So don't write them off just on one performance. And not only that, in terms of us getting second easy, we've also got to do our job. So no slip-ups. No slip-ups this weekend against Preston. No slip-ups on Tuesday night against Bristol City. And on Sunday, going to the Rust Bucket. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness. Each game at a time. Each game at a time. Fred says, bad news is, Jimmy, if Sausage Roll leads S6, they might get a manager who knows what he's doing. It's a nice little dig. We always like a little whip to the side at the blue half. But if I'm being completely honest, which I like to try and be here, I think he's a very good manager, and I think it's great for us as the red half that he's on his way, because that's what it looks like, doesn't it? It looks like he's going to Southampton, looks almost nailed on, and that'll be great for us, because he's taken a terrible side and made him into a mid-table championship team. And really, a lot of them are League One players. He's smattered it with a couple of okay signings. So, but I think they'll be in trouble if they don't get it right next time. Big welcome for Eki and Stuart McCall on Saturday, says Danny. Then 3 points off them up the Blades. Absolutely, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Dan? Give them maybe even a rendition. Probably afterwards. We'll save it for afterwards if we get the 3 points. Evening, Jimmy and fellow Blades, says Bri. Good evening, pal. Mike says, keep rattling them 3 points off Blades. Absolutely right. Hello, Jimmy. Hello, everyone, says Sarah. Hello. Hope you're good. Have you changed the lighting in the Ramble Den, Jimmy? It looks brighter. Yes, we have, pal. Yes, we have. We've got spotlights in now. And I was saying, if you didn't catch us earlier, Sparky's obviously been in today to do that, but we've also had the internet wired into the studio, something that we've been wanting to do for a little while. So now, hopefully, we shouldn't have any connection issues. So, keep your fingers crossed kind of job. Brian says hi to Sarah. All Blades, aren't we, says North. Absolutely right, we are, pal. Ian says, if us and Burnley win Saturday, there's going to be a lot of nervy Leeds fans on Sunday. Yeah, because we play before Leeds. So the ideal scenario is obviously Luton do one over on Burnley. But if Burnley do squeak past Luton and hopefully we get the win against Preston, we move level on points with Leeds. Obviously, we're still in second place because of their goal difference, but it does continue to turn the screw and put the pressure on. I think they're away at Portsmouth, which is a tricky tie. David says, evening, Jimmy. We cannot afford to slip up. Just got to do our job. Absolutely right. Up all the Rambles, up the Blades. Like and subscribe, please. Mike says, yeah, Weeds 3 points clear. But if you ask them, they were champions in August and the best team to ever grace our beloved game. They're that links into me winding Connor up yesterday with that short. They've every right to think they're a big club at this level. They are. I wind them up that Sunderland are a bigger club because I think that's subjective. I think they're both very big clubs at this level. Certainly the two biggest clubs at this level, I would say, in my opinion. But he were on a stream yesterday saying they were one of the biggest clubs in the country. Maybe that's their ceiling in terms of that's where they can get to in terms of their potential. But they're not at the moment, are they? They're not. Nottingham Forest are bigger than them, and they've been relegation fodder in Premier League up until this season. West Ham, Everton, Newcastle, Villa, all those sort of stable Premier League clubs are bigger than Leeds United. And it's not always about what's a bigger club, is it? Because they would swap places in terms of success with Bournemouth in an instant. I'm sure they would. And Bournemouth aren't a bigger club than Leeds, but they're a more successful club than Leeds. So anyway, that's by the by. I don't want to talk about them. We talk about them way too much. Hi, Jim says, Harry, holding to start instead of Robbo, and Hamer dropped into the 8, allowing Raksaki on the right and BBD on the left, and Ty up front, giving Peck a rest. Eki won't make it easy up the Blades, up the Ramble. Yeah, I'll be doing my Born to be Wilder as well, so you'll get my team. It's tricky, isn't it? Because there's a few little combinations that you could do. I like yours, Harry, where you're giving Peck a rest. You could also give Raksaki a rest by playing Brereton Diaz on the right. You could drop Hamer into the 10 and give O'Hare a rest if you wanted, with Brereton Diaz on the left. So there's a few different combinations that you can go with there. Great Band says, hey, Jimmy, the big news I'd like to see soon is Anel our only short-term contract risk, signing an extended deal. We risk him going cheap in the summer. Any word on this? Only from when I was a little bit closer to the club that we were approaching him with a very, very good deal. It's not in Anel's interest, in my opinion, which isn't nice for us Blades to hear. It's not in his interest to sign it now, is it? He might as well wait and see whether he's going to be playing for a Premier League club or a Championship club next season. I mean, Sheffield United, obviously. He might as well see which division we're going to be in next season. And even then, it still favours him, because even if we're in the Premier League, he can get every little clause written in. I think the power has swung so far back to the players now. He can get all the clauses written in that he likes, in terms of a relegation release clause or a minimum fee release clause, or if a Champions League comes in, league club comes in, he's allowed to talk to him, or whatever it might be. And some might scoff at that if they're not Sheffield United fans. But we know, I think a lot of us see the potential in Anel, where he could be very good as a European player in a big side. It's a little bit like Sander Berger, where I don't think he's great when you have to roll your sleeves up. Although Anel is better at this than Sander. But I think Sander got some stick sometimes because he's a bit more of a Rolls Royce of a player. He will look very good. We've always said it. A lot of us have said it anyway, in a better side. And he's starting to do that. The more Fulham become comfortable in the league, he's looking like a real player for them. A lot of people saying he'll now move on to a bigger club than Fulham, undoubtedly soon, and probably looks comfortable for that at that level as well. 3-1 Blades, I hope, pal, says Bry. Evening, Jimmy. Hope all is good. You've put that twice, Matt. 2-0 Blades, says Jack. Hope so. Evening, Jimmy and fellow Ramblers. We're giving Leeds too much respect. They may have the squad in the league, but only 3 points in front of us. And if anyone wants to get technical, only 1 point. I don't think we're giving them too much respect. I think they're there on merit, and I actually enjoy I don't want to be second. That's don't take it out of context, anybody that's clipping me up. But it's good. I think it's always good to have someone to chase rather than be chased. I want to end up in that first spot, but I think we would be, if Leeds were far and away, if Leeds were 8 points clear of us in second, so they'd already pretty much won the league, or 8-10 points clear, and all we're concentrating on is getting away from Burnley. I think it makes us more nervy. The fact that we've got someone to chase, there's a carrot as well as a stick. I think it's decent. I don't mind it. That says I'm going 2-0 and got a good feeling Luton will get a draw up the Ramble and smash that like. Thank you, pal. How about a comparison of remaining fixtures video after the weekend, Jimmy? Yeah, we could look at that, Ian. We can definitely look at that. I think it's probably pertinent to do it. But, I mean, there's still going to be 10 games each, isn't there? I mean, we might have to just... do it. I mean, even stuff like this is controversial to say in it, but do we include Sunderland in that? Because I don't think we do. It might depend on this weekend's results, but then you're looking at 40 fixtures still, or 39 because we've got to play Burnley, and so 2-0 Blades. Next 2 games, says Michael. Oh, confident then. What the Blades like and subscribe. I hope you're right, pal. Evening, Jimmy, says Ray. And fellow Ramblers, welcome Eki. But once the whistle goes, that's it. We want the win. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Okay, we're going to go and find out a little bit about our opponents tomorrow night. I've spoken to Aaron from JSGC, and he sent me in our latest Ramble rundown.
So I'm Aaron from Just GC Football, one half of it. So you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on our social medias as well, which is Twitter and Instagram. I would rate our season so far. I think it's a solid 6 out of 10. So we're not doing much in the championships, but he has done really well to steady the ship. That's one phrase I will say, steady the ship really well after a difficult start for North End, especially under challenging circumstances with Ramble leaving after one game. I think Keck is doing a superb job because I think he's really knows his team, and when he gets his own team in, I think he'll hit form. So I think we'll go from strength to strength. I say really is a tactical magic, and it really is a breath of fresh air. One thing I will say for him. I think he's doing a solid job. For me, it's 7 out of 10, and he's also got in the quarterfinals of an FA Cup for the first time since 1966. That is no mean feat at all. And we look really comfortable with the championship. He's got us away from the relegation zone as we look very comfortable in mid-table, but not quite strong enough to challenge playoffs. At Preston, we will play a 3-5. We normally play 3-5-2, but I think it'll be a 3-5-1-1 with Matt sitting behind the striker. I think we'll go extra negative and try and sit back and hit Sheffield United on the counter. The main threat for Preston in our side is Osmajic. He scores goals, got a goal every 90 minutes, and when he's on form, he is on form. But the other thing that lets him down is his discipline. Is everyone knows who Osmajic is.
I really don't like that guy.
You don't like me? Fight me!
So the weak link is Freddie Woodman in our team. As he's got a few howlers in him, his distribution is really poor. It's one thing I will say for Freddie Woodman. He really needs to improve, and I think he's gone backwards in the last 2 seasons. So with Preston, what we'll do, we'll try and match you up. It will be a physical encounter, there'll be a tactical battle as well. But it depends on Sheffield United. Will keep possession and can they break down a resilient North End team at Bramall Lane. So for Sheffield United, I don't think there's any weaknesses in your team at all because it's a nicely balanced squad. And also I like the look of Tyrese Campbell. What's been impressed, I think he's your main man, especially up front. So I think he'll get goals. The score prediction, I will go for 3-1 Sheffield United. I think it'll be too strong for North End, and when the first goal goes, I think Sheffield United will hit form and get a second goal. I think North End will fold under pressure, especially with a team like Sheffield United. Before you check us out, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram for our social media. It's just GC Football. Finally, I think Sheffield United will finish second in the championship and go up automatically in Preston North End 13th. So it's a season to look back on with fondness. It's Preston, it's all about their FA Cup. It's because we're too good to go down and certainly not good enough for the playoffs. So we draw far too many games, but we're a really hard team to beat. One thing I will say for Preston North End. Sheffield United, you do not want the playoffs. We know your history, you're just as bad as my team, Preston North End. But for Sheffield United, I do wish you the best of luck. And Jimmy, thanks once again for having us on your channel. Best of luck.
I've heard it all before. Thank you to Aaron. What a banger that song is, by the way. Absolutely love it. New from Matilda Shakes. I don't think it's out yet, but yeah, that keep your eye out for that because it's absolutely brilliant. I can't stop singing it. Yeah, so interesting that. I thought a very brief one from Aaron, but don't mind that at all. So the points to take out of that is we'll be playing against the 3-5-2, which shouldn't be any surprise with Hecky in charge because obviously it's something that we're used to him playing with us. Aaron seems to think that rather than a strict 3-5-2, they'll play a 3-5-1-1 with maybe a 10 and a 9. So that'll be interesting to see. Osmajic is their key man who nobody likes. He's the racist biter, alleged racist biter that can do one and get out of the game, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, let's tell you what, best solution for that is Jackie Robinson. Get Jackie. He won't be biting Jackie Robinson, will he? So get Jackie on him. Smashed him first 5 minutes. He'll whimper off like a little puppy. So there you go. So that'll sort him out. Freddie Woodman is their weak link. Now, historically, I like Freddie Woodman as a goalkeeper, but this fits with everything that a lot of people are saying and a lot of the highlight packages you see of Freddie Woodman recently. Over the last 12, 18 months, he has really dipped in terms of form. He's a weak link. he's a weak link. It's a little bit like, I mean, we talked about when we played Leeds, go for Melier because he's a clear weak link. Well, I think you just shoot on sight with Woodman as well, because he's not a confident goalkeeper at the moment. So interesting. I also like us lining up against the 3-5-2 a little bit, because we play one up top, so they'll have 3 centre backs. So I just think it works better for us, really, rather than I think they're wasting a man at the back there because they don't, unless Gus and Brereton Diaz probably are going to run directly at him, which I don't think they will. I think they'll be into playing. So I like it. We'll be able to draw men out. There'll be gaps behind, I think, just thinking about the way the formations could set up. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased. So, and I'm confident as well, and I'll get to my Born to be Wilder very shortly. But before I do, actually, let me just make a small announcement. I want to thank our latest sponsor of the Ramble. We have got something to add to our pre-match routine. Ramblers, ladies and gents, Selena Bar is now a pre-match venue for the Ramble. And they're offering 20% off for Ramblers. So anybody that's a Rambler can get 20% off. But anybody watching this stream, I will be able to get you a QR code if you contact me, or if you make your way to Selena Bar before the game and I'm in there, then, which I will be at some stage. We still have an agreement with Triple Point as well. It doesn't necessarily change anybody's pre-game plans, but it is on the way to the game. It's opposite Panenka. We can get you some discounts in Panenka as well. So thank you to Selena Bar for their support. Very much appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to this relationship going forward. Kids are welcome as well. I've checked that out. Dave the Nose, we're sorted. We can get young Aaron in and whoever else wants to go there. So, yeah, a new bar on our pre-match route, if you like. I mean, it's on the way to the ground anyway, isn't it? So, absolutely spot on that. So, thank you to Selena Bar and the team for their support of the Ramble. North says, Connor's never been on a big job. Jimmy, that video you made, though, what a shout. On a big job? What do you mean? Without the -2, and that says a lot, to be honest. There's no reason why we can't win the title. It's down to us to win games and put the pressure on. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Nige, I love the confidence, pal. And look, on paper, you're right. I just think if you... There's the age-old argument in there, and the only thing I can compare it to is scouting. Because I know, obviously, I've got a bit of a background in it, and my dad certainly has. So me and my dad... The way we scouted, and I refer to him more because he was a professional scout for 20 years in the Premier League. But the eye test means an awful lot. And in today's world of data, we can rely a little bit too much on that. And what you're referring to, Nige, I suppose, in a way, and I don't mean to quote you, pal, but it's down to us to win it in terms of the points on the board, isn't it? You look at what we've won so far this season, and you're right, we match up almost to what Leeds have done. We've won more games than them. But the eye test will tell you different, won't it? And I think you've got to take both into consideration when you're making a sensible assessment of it. And just in my opinion, and this is all it is, again, I think Leeds are playing much better football than us at the moment. I still think we have got an argument for the best starting 11 when everyone's fit. I think it weakens our argument since we lost Harry Souttar. But I think half of our players can get into this Leeds side, but they are playing a lot more fluently and freely than we are at the minute, which is why they've kicked on a little bit. I still don't think we've kicked into gear and sort of clicked as a side yet. I don't really think we've found our best, not necessarily formation, but we're only now starting to get close to our starting 11, I think. And I'll talk about it. In fact, let's jump into it now while we're talking about starting 11s, because I think we're getting close to having a set starting 11. And you may agree, you may disagree, but let me know what you think after watching a bit of Born to be Wilder.
Born to be wild.
So this is Born to be Wilder, and this is my team to play Preston at the weekend. and see if you agree with my team or not. So I'm starting off with Michael Cooper in goal, the best goalkeeper in the Championship. What else can I say about this man? I think he's the best goalkeeper in the Championship. I wouldn't change him for anyone in this league. James Trafford might be valued at a higher price tag potentially due to his age or the path that he's taken coming through the youth ranks at Man City. So he may be seen to have a higher pedigree. But for me, Michael Cooper is the best goalkeeper in this league. Clearly, he starts as our number one. At right back, I'm mixing it up a little bit here. I like Hamza Chowdhury as a right back, but I'm going Femi Siriki. We're against a team that I think we can get at home, on the attack, pushing down that right-hand side. Femi Siriki makes my starting lineup to play Preston. Anel Ahmedhodzic is also in the side. He starts on the right of the centre defenders. One of the first names on the team sheet at the moment, Anel. I think he's playing really well at the moment, and fair play to him. After a bit of a wobble when Harry Souttar came out of the side, he's now playing really well again and showing his worth, particularly at this level. Next to him is Jack Robinson. Again, this is me trying to be a bit more bigger picture in the way I look at things. Had this have been away at a difficult place, if this is the Turf Moor game, for example, I may have gone with Rob Holding, because I still think the best defensive partnership will be Rob Holding and Anel Ahmedhodzic. But I don't think Jack Robinson's done enough to drop him. So Robbo stays in my side. And even me phrasing it like that might upset some people, because why would you be looking for a reason to drop him? Because I think that Rob Holding's a better player. That's the long and short of it, to be honest. Harrison Burrows starts as left back. I think he's been a bit quiet recently. Had a couple of quiet games, but we know what this lad can do for us. He is a young player. We are going to get inconsistencies from young players. I still think he's our best left back, and he stays in my team. In front of them, I'm going with Vinny Souza, unbelievable player. I thought against Leeds he were absolutely outstanding. I thought he played well against QPR. Just a ridiculous talent at this level. Now he's got some confidence behind him. There's been no stopping him, really. Only the injuries that have slowed him down. And next to him is Siddy Peck, who I thought grew into the game against QPR. I thought he started a little bit shaky, which we've seen from time to time. But what we've got now is the reassurance of strength in depth. So if Siddy continues to have bits of wobbles through games and we feel like we need to rest him, or he needs a bit of a break, we can bring on Tom Davies, or we can bring on Hamza Chowdhury, or we can drop Gus Hamer into the 8. So there are options there now, which there haven't been for the majority of the season. So Siddy Peck starts there alongside Vinny Souza. On the left of midfield, it's Gustavo Hamer coming in from that left-hand side, as Wilder likes to sort of coin it, an inside 10, if you like, or a floating 10 that comes in off the left-hand side. He's not a winger, we know that, but he does have a strong impact. His numbers are great from out there. Callum O'Hare is in the number 10 position, been one of our better players the second half of the season. Fully deserves to keep his place in the side. This team is starting to pick itself a little bit. I think certainly from the base of the midfield and everything in front of them, this team is starting to pick itself. On the right-hand side, we're going Ben Brereton Diaz. I'm still not convinced his best position is on the right wing. Like, I'm not convinced Gus Hamer's position is best on the left. But we are getting a strong output from Ben Brereton Diaz in this right wing position, or right forward position, should I say. He's got a knack of turning up in the right place at the right time, a real goal scorer's intuition, and he's clinical at this level. He has to start for me, and he's complemented by Tyrese Campbell up front, who I think has been an absolute revelation this season. What a signing he's turned out to be. Just gets better as the season goes on. He's harsh on Tom Cannon, but maybe a little spell out of the side takes a little bit of the spotlight off him. I think he's under a little bit of pressure, unnecessary pressure as well, that he didn't ask for with the price tag. But Tyrese Campbell, at the moment, is proving to be our number one choice for our lone striker role. He's earned that position with his graft and his hard work and his output. So this is my team, and I really like it as a side. If this team isn't enough to beat Preston, then we're doing something wrong, because Michael Cooper in goal, Femi Siriki at right back, Anel and Jack Robinson as centre halves. Absolutely, I can have a conversation about changing that around a little bit. But again, I think it's harsh on Jack Robinson if you do. Left back Burrows completes our defence. And then, as I say, I think from this point on, it starts to pick itself a little bit. Vinny Souza and Siddy Peck, the midfield pairing. Gus Hamer on the left. Brereton Diaz on the right. Callum O'Hare in the 10. And Tyrese Campbell up top. It's a really strong lineup. And I think if we play anything near the tempo that we've played in recent games, then it should be too much for Preston, who could only manage a draw at home to Swansea in the last game. So let me know what you think to that team. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you put Raksaki in? Do you put Rob Holding in? Do you move Hamer into the middle and maybe put Brereton Diaz out on the left-hand side and drop Siddy, potentially? Let me know. Does Cannon come in for you? Does Kiefer Moore come in? Obviously, this is why it's subjective, isn't it? But that's my team. That's what I'm sticking with. And that was Born to be Wilder.
Born
detail.
Born to be wild. You can tell now, can't you, that they're pre-recorded because it's a different lighting in here. So usually I'm a bit more seamless than that, hopefully. But anyway, that's by the by. Nige says without the -2, and that says a lot, to be honest. There's no reason why. Oh, we've read that one. Sorry, Nige. Phil says, hi, Jimmy. Hope you and the family are well. We are. Thank you, pal. Hope you are too. I hope all Blades give Hecky a great welcome back on Saturday. I think a 2-0 win. Yeah, I think that will happen. Hecky will get a good reception, and absolutely so, too right he should. Don't worry, Matt. No problem, pal. 3-0 Blades, says Nige. I think 2-0 Blades, says Tim. But we've got to watch out for that Preston striker, Osmajic. Yes, we do. Yeah, get your dentures at the ready because the biter's coming into it. Red card for that. 3-1 Blades, says Sarah. Yeah, like it. Bristol City midweek, them lot on Sunday. Where have I seen that before? Don't. 4-1 Blades, says North. Love that. Liam says, evening, pal. Hope you're good. Think we'll win 2-0 on Saturday. Campbell and Cannon, and hoping Luton can get something at Turf Moor. Up all the Rambles. Please like and subscribe. Do we honestly think Luton can get something at Turf Moor? I know. I'm not convinced, if I'm honest. I'm not convinced. I would have been at start of the season, obviously, but they're bottom of the league. Matthew says, still think you should do that, Jimmy. Light up your Ramble logo on your wall. Would look mint. Or yeah, maybe that one there. So get a spotlight on it or something. Well, I'm always up for playing with thing. But it's blurred intentionally. There's a feature you can put on the camera, which I've no idea how I've done it. It might just be because of the distance I've created now, where it sharpens up the foreground. So you have to see a bit more of my face, unfortunately. Apologies for that. But you get blurred backgrounds, which I quite like the aesthetic of, to be honest. Hey up, Blade, says Avril. What's happening? Wouldn't want to be Wilder this week. So many good headaches to have. We all surely would have a different opinion on the best starting lineup. Good time to be a Blade, in my opinion. Absolutely right. Well said. Hope you're well. Michael says, Jimmy, be careful of Preston. They held Burnley 0-0 in the league and beat them 3-0 in the FA Cup. They beat a heavily rotated Burnley. I think they made 10 changes in the FA Cup. So I do if we made 10 changes, we'd get turned over, I think, by most of their starters. They did hold them to a 0-0, but they're coming to us, Michael. And if we can't beat Preston, then do we deserve to go up? And that's no slight on Preston, but these are the games that you have to win. They're the games that, you're expected to win, but you have to go through on that expectation and get 3 points here. Jimmy says 3 cup finals before the international break. Then it's one last push. Don't want any suspensions from silly cards. Up the Blades, up the full-time Ramble. Thank you, pal. Seen Wilder today at petrol station. Asked him what the score he reckons for Saturday. He said 4-1. I'm not even lying. Did he say which way, though, North? Did he say who's going to win 4-1? Leeds, in fact, talking about seeing Wilder, my dad was sick the other night. He got 1 ticket, didn't get 2. So cheers, Andy the Blade. 1 ticket to see Paul Eaton the other night. This is going to be a bit of a name drop, to be fair, Clang. But a ticket to see Paul Eaton, bumps into Wilder on the way out, and his wife and Wit. I'm like, oh, you coming for a beer? You coming for a beer? He had his last train, were like in 10 minutes' time. He was like, I can't. Unlucky. Should have got your son a ticket, shouldn't you? Seeing what Ray says, Leeds like our neighbours, forever deluded, live in the past. The future is bright. The future's red and white. It feels bright in this room, to be honest, Ray. Wow. Mike says, I'm hoping we get to see Jeff by the end of the season. I think we will, Mike. I think we will. I think we'll certainly see him on the bench. Whether we actually see him, I'm going to say stripped off then, but you know what I mean. Don't want any of that. PG channel. Just giving 20 minutes last game to show him what we're about. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. I think if obviously it's done and dusted. We're not in for giving debuts to be polite in games that we need to win, are we? And I know you're not suggesting that, pal. What's happening, Blades? Avril's just, I think, you're doing a couple of corrections on that one, but we read it out anyway, don't worry. Pity we haven't got Brian Clough's approach on signing players. Seen some of Crossley's videos and how he went about things. Took no rubbish from players and agents, lol. One of the first Under the Cosh pods is Mark Crossley, and they didn't record it as a video shoot. It was just an audio podcast. That is the funniest Under the Cosh I have ever listened to. If you haven't seen the Mark Crossley Under the Cosh, or should I say, if you haven't heard the Mark Crossley Under the Cosh podcast. Blades Ramble also now on audio platforms, by the way, so you'll be able to catch this afterwards. But that is one of the funniest episodes I've ever heard. Absolutely brilliant. Luke says, dream realistic signing if promoted, Jimmy. Well, a dream signing and a realistic signing are different, aren't they? I will say realistic signing, and it's a bit of a safe one, but I think realistic is Harry Souttar. I would love us to get the band back together again and firm up that centre defence. Avril says, Luke, I'd be happy if we just keep our best players this time. No, we've got to strengthen now, Avril. We did that last time. Well, we didn't do that last time, did we? We sold Illy and Sander, but I know what you're saying. But we'll give it a go this time. I'm pretty sure we will. Nice kid, Aaron. Yeah, he is, Bri. Yeah, he's a nice lad. Phil says, evening, Jimmy. Good evening, pal. I hope Eki gets a good reception on Saturday. He will. He will, mate. He did a great job for the club under challenging circumstances, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Yes, he did. He did. We don't forget that, though, do we? He did a really good job for us. Danny says, really hoping Cannon is loaded Saturday. He has to start contributing and hopefully a goal gets him fired. Do you not think he's been contributing, Dan? I think he's been contributing. Just because he hasn't scored don't mean he's not had a positive impact on the team. I think he's had so much pressure on his shoulders, this lad. All the Blades up all the Rambles, like and subscribe. Like button all. Thank you, pal. Dublin Blades says, evening, Jim. Going 3-1. Score early and think we'll be too strong for them. They're only behind the champions of Europe on goal difference. Wonder what the Aboriginal eyebrows will have to say about that. Harsh. Sarah says, Burrows has been quiet due to a belter of a game. Yep, 3-1. He's due a belter of a game, says Sarah. Yes, he is. I think so too. 3-1 Blades. That seems a popular scoreline. I'd probably say 2-0. I'd probably go 2-0. I think we keep the biter out. And yeah, I think 2-0 might be a more realistic scoreline. Burrows to score, says Sarah. Would love that. Dublin Blade says, nice. Born to be Wilder team, Jim. Don't think Chowdhury had a decent game on Saturday, but don't think Chowdhury had a decent game on Saturday, but when we need to shore it up, I'd bring him on. Yeah, I agree. Think folks need to get off Cannon's back. Sorry, Andy the Blade, going 3-1. Don't be sorry, you're right. They do. Mr. V says, evening, Jimmy. That's my team too. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Great minds, Mr. V. Great minds, pal. Matt says that team is perfect for Preston. Bang on. Thank you, pal. I'd settle for Luton getting a draw up there, Jimmy. Absolutely, Bri. If Burnley drop points in any way and we do our job, which is win, it's magic for us. Magic. Love that. Would have Holding alongside an L, says Phil. Hamer as an 8, Raksaki on the right and BBD on the left. Robbo deserves to keep his place, though. Yeah, so you can't. Yeah, you can't bring Holding in, then, can you? I know what you say. I'm same, Phil. I think we're on the same wavelength with that. That I would like to see Holding starting because I think there's an argument to say he might be our best defender. We're not going to know, are we? If we don't ever get to see it. Joe says, if all my predictions are right, we'll win 3-1 and come second on 97 points, 2 points above Burnley. Up the Blades, up the. I'm not sure my ticker will take that, Joe. 2 points on last day. Wow. Okay, we do play Blackburn on the last day of the season. Burnley's arch rivals, who might not have anything to play for. Just one to bear in mind, maybe. Michael says, Jimmy, will the Blades start the match against Preston the same way they started against Leeds? I hope so, pal. That formula worked against Leeds for long periods in the first half. I think if we start like that, we could easily go 3 up against Preston here. Leeds could not live with us. It were 1-0, should have been 2, and that's against the best team in the league. So if we do it to Preston, then we could maybe afford to get a cigar out in the second half, which they needed, didn't they? Well, not a cigar, they needed an oxygen tank, didn't they? But yeah, interesting to see if they approach it as high tempo as we approach that game, Michael. Looked up about the yellow cards, ban after 32 games. 10 yellows doesn't count, but till the rest of the season now, if you get 15 yellow cards, it's a 3-game ban. What's Hamer on? He's just served a 10-game, hasn't he? A 2-game ban for 10 yellows. So he's on the 11 yellows, I think, already. Jimmy, do you detect issues behind the scenes between Wilder and Holding as to why Holding's... No, I don't. I don't think that's it at all. I just think he sees Holding as putting appropriate pressure on Robinson to get these performances out of Robinson. So he's doing his job. I can't remember who it was in the Prem. We brought a left back in when Wilder took us up, and Ender Stevens became probably the best left back in the Premier League for a period of 6 months. And you'd have to have been there to believe that, me saying that out loud. But there'll be a lot of people watching and nodding. I can't remember who the left back was. Whoever it was to put pressure on Ender. Ender became an absolute world beater. Same with Panos Retsos came in with a half an eye to be a long-term successor to Bash. Couldn't get Bash out of the team. That's sometimes what it's about, Michael. It's strengthening the squad, isn't it? So, and pushing those that are already here. Ricky from Just United says 3-1. We need to stop playing with teams and start putting them to bed. With the talent and skill to do it now, so let's go do it. Absolutely right. Jimmy's the president of the Tom Cannon fan club, says Harry. I think he's a very good player. And I think we will see a lot more from him in terms of output, but I don't think he's done bad at all. I don't. He's just not scored, which is obviously the headline that everybody wants, me included, him included, no doubt, but you can still significantly... David McGoldrick is a prime example. I think a lot of us look back so fondly on Diddy's time with the club. One of the best players to play for us in the modern history of the club. I think he's certainly worth that conversation. What an absolute talent this bloke is. And he went for such a long time without scoring a goal, but he offered us so much more than just the end product, didn't he? And then for a period, he was the only one scoring for us. So I don't think you can judge him. Obviously, it's the main thing that strikers are judged on. So I understand the concerns, but it's not everything. And the team is winning. So if we were getting beat every week and Tom Cannon couldn't hit a barn door and he were getting all these chances on a play, I could understand it a little bit more. But I think it's been harsh so far, I must say. I mean, contributing with goals, pal, not knocking his efforts, says Dan. Yeah, that's fair, mate. That's fair. I know what you're saying. Joe says, I do feel that Cannon will be like Tyrese, one goal and he'll start firing them in. I think you might be right. Phil says, hi, Jimmy. Preston won't be easy on Saturday. Don't want another Hull City up the full-time Ramble. We won't get another Hull City, pal. Hull caught us at the exact right time for that. And this, I don't mean to take anything away from Hull, but you play that game 9 times out of 10 and we beat Hull. And even though it was a 3-0 game, we were running on empty. That was a bridge too far. Whatever other saying you want to chuck at it, we were done. We were cooked at that point. Harrison Burrows in centre midfield. Sidney Peck playing his 10th game in a row, 10th, 90th minute in a row. I don't know if that's any of that's true, to be fair, for that game, but that's what it felt like at the time. So I think you scratch that and you move on as one of them that it fell by the wayside. Michael, Holding hasn't played properly for over a year, says Danny, which is true. That 1920 season was something special. Yeah, it was, Joe. Was it Ben Osborne? Came in for around I think he came in for around 4 million quid, Aussie. Might have been Aussie as like a left wing back. Yeah, it could have been, pal. Yeah, he was, Ender was unbelievable. Danny says, so many great memories from the past few years. Still can't believe Baldock's gone. Such a sad, sad loss. What a player for us. Rest in peace. Oh, mate, my favourite player. Absolutely love George Baldock. Ricky says, Cannon will come good. I think pairing him with Moore is a game changer and something we can rotate in a game. Potentially, yeah. Holding for right back, says Rob. That's not... Well, I think he's more of a centre-half. You could maybe move Anel out to right back, who's a little bit more mobile. But I think it's something you could consider, yeah. Okay, so we are at the end of the comments. Thank you to everybody for joining us. Just another reminder, because they are brand new to the scene, but thank you to Selena for sponsoring us. I will be in Selena pre-match before the game, before the Preston game. I'll also be in Triple Point. We obviously have that existing relationship with Triple Point too, but I will also see you in Selena where we can get 20% off our drinks. Everybody. Unbelievable deal. Keep with Ramble. I'm telling you, we'll get all the deals in. Don't you worry. So yes, thank you to everybody that's joined us. Just one more, or a couple more actually. Couple more. Dublin Blade says, I wouldn't go to the Cave Troll gym. He's been out. Go for the Cave Troll. That's Harry Suter, by the way. He's been outstanding down here in this division, but not good enough for the Prem. Too slow, though. I'd go Woofenden, the guy from QPR, so Jimmy Dunn, and Tango Man of Millwall, Tanganga, as 3 to get in. Right, okay, that's a lot of defenders. And it's a lot of money as well. Danny says, see you all Saturday, Blades. Come on, you red and white wizards. Oh, come on. I am so excited for this game. I don't think I've given me Scott. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 United. Tyrese gets at least one of them. Up the Ramble, people, says Bri. Thank you, mate. We've still got Kiefer, who's under the radar lately, says Ray. Yeah, could he? what an impact sub to bring on. What an impact sub to bring on. Even when like you're holding on to a tight lead and stuff and you need to defend corners and things like that, I think he's a great option to have. Ricky says, if Burnley fall, I wouldn't mind taking a punt on Brownhill on a free. Also wouldn't mind Anthony, like Jadon Anthony. He's on loan with Burnley into Jadon Anthony, I think. But Brownhill all day long. He goes to Premier League, doesn't he, end of season. Let's hope that we're in that conversation. Might even pop into Selena to say hi. Mate, do it. Come find me. We'll get you 20% off. So even Selena might even nip off at road to Panenka. So we'll see. We'll see. 20% off your drinks if you're part of the Ramble crew. So thank you to everybody for joining us. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. 2-0 Blades. Up the